They would have heard of me if Jesus had not changed my life. Jesus make people. He make places. He make things famous when he show up. The scene opened with John again introducing this message to us with the word after this. I've often said it, and I said again, that when you are serious about being a student of the word, you listen attentively to every word in the word. And you have to learn as a student how to find wholly helpful hints as to which book a person is reading out of. Because some people, when they read the scripture, they just start reading, don't tell you where it's at, where it's located. They just start reading it. It keep you in dismay. But if you are a student of the word, you can easily pick up in the area where they are based upon what you hear them say. There are people that you can tell quick who they are by some of the statements that they make. I've had several members to get upset with me and write me little nasty letters, and they thought I didn't know who they were. But if I've talked with you one time, whatever you write, I can pick it up because you're going to say little things you're not conscious of that I have already picked up on. I watched that movie entitled Why Did I Get Married? And one of the ladies, she was talking to the other ladies, and she said, I can tell when my husband is lying. See, because he always said, know what I mean, know what I mean. There are things that we say that we're not conscious that it's a part of us, that it is there forever. Like so, in the penmanship of the scripture, each of the books, the writers, give us wholly helpful hints to let you know who it is that's doing the talking. For instance, if you listen and read Matthew, you will hear things like this was done, that the scripture might be fulfilled. You know that's Matthew. If you hear the statement say, and straightway, immediately, and forward, you know that's the penmanship of Mark. When you hear statements like, and it came to pass, that's Luke's writing. John used statements like, verily, verily, or after this. That's John's writing. John is this penman that tried definitely hard to keep a time schedule with Jesus. However, John says to us at the end of his writing, there are also many other things which Jesus did, which if they have all been written, I suppose the world itself could not contain the books that should have been written therein. Because John said that Jesus was extremely busy. He opened this passage by saying, after this. After Jesus had finished meeting the woman at the well, after he'd had an encounter with her, he wrought one other miracle. Now in 5, he said, after this, there was a feast. You have to bear in mind that Christianity is centered around a feast, not around a funeral. That's why when people are saved, you must remember that we're having a feast, a festival. That's why Sunday is so important. Sunday represents the day that Jesus got up from the grave. It is a place and a time of celebration. It is when saints should rejoice about the goodness of God because we have won the victory. He said, after this, there was a feast of the Jews. There were three noted feasts that the Jews would go to on a regular basis. Each year they would attend these feasts. It said that was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. I like that because Jerusalem is symbolic to the church. That whenever you go to church, you're going up. The Bible say in John and Luke chapter 10 that there was a man that left Jerusalem, went down to Jericho, and fell among thieves. That when you leave the church, you're going down. When you go to the church, you're going up. Talk to me, somebody. He said he went up to Jerusalem, and there is at Jerusalem. I like the name Jerusalem because you can't spell Jerusalem without spelling Salem. This church, the name of Salem, come out of the name Jerusalem. It said that he was at Jerusalem by the sheep market, a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda. Bethesda is symbolic to mercy. The name mean mercy. Is there anybody here know anything about his mercy? The Bible says he give us new mercy every morning. I don't know about y'all, but I need all the mercy that I can possibly get because I know I've messed up. I've come short. I've fallen short. The Lord said, listen, he cares so much about us until he have mercy following us. Because Psalms 23:6 says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. I thank God that there is mercy for me. And we're here today because of his sparing mercy. We're not here because we've done everything right. We're not here because we've been so holy. We're not here because we kept all the commandments, but we're here because of his sparing mercy. The text said that he came to this place of Bethesda called the house of mercy. But then he says, having 5 porches. The porches, the number 5 is symbolic to grace. Now watch the text. The place is called mercy. The porches symbolizes grace. Here it is. We have them running simultaneously, side by side, mercy and grace. Ephesians 2:8 said we're saved by grace through faith unto good works. There are 3 prepositions that hang on our belief: by, through, and unto. Faith, F-A-I-T-H, forsaken in all, I trust him. Grace, G-R-A-C-E, at God's riches, Christ at God's riches expense. Talk to me, somebody. We have been saved by grace through faith. So wait a minute, preacher. Am I saved by grace? Am I saved by faith? I'm saved by both. You see, the hand of faith reaches up to the hand of grace and say, I love you, I want to be saved. The hand of grace reaches down to faith and say, I believe you and I want to be saved. Talk to me, somebody. Faith and grace, but the text said we have mercy here. Mercy is when you don't get what you do deserve. Grace is when you get what you don't deserve. Listen to what he said in Psalms 103, verse 10. God does not judge man according to his sin, nor reward him according to his iniquity. In other words, God don't give any of us what we deserve. I was a lady went and got some pictures taken, and after photographer finished and came back with the development of the pictures, the lady said to the photographer, sir, you're going to have to do something else. I don't think you gave me justice with these pictures. Photographer said, ma'am, you don't need justice. You need some mercy. And like so, we don't need justice. All of us in here need some mercy. Talk to me, somebody. There was grace, then there is mercy, all tied in to one. The Bible said, and there lay a multitude of impotent folk, lame, blind, halt, waiting. The multitude is symbolic to the church of the living God. As quiet as it is kept, this multitude represent hurting people. I should say to you, there's no house in America where you can hang a sign out of the window and say no hurt here. All of us are hurting one way or the other. We're hurting because this passage in verse 14 said the man's problem was a sin problem. All of us are hurting really because of a sin problem. Because number one, we were born in sin. Secondly, we have a sin nature. Thirdly, we practice sin. Y'all don't like me in this house. Our problem is a sin problem. The text said, the multitude came to this pool waiting to be healed. A multitude, different kind of people with different problems. Just because I don't have the problem you have does not mean that I don't have a problem. All of us got something wrong with us. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong crowd. Maybe this is the crowd, ain't nothing wrong with you. Maybe this is crowd, ain't no hurt at your house. There was some problems at this particular place. They were all waiting to be healed. That's why one person should not look under-eyed at another person because of what they're going through. Because without the grace of God, there go I. Talk to me if you can. Just because my son is not in trouble and yours is, don't mean it can't happen. Because it can happen tomorrow. It can happen tonight. That's why we must do what we can to aid and assist others while we can, because it may be their time now, but your time tomorrow. Whenever I'm riding down the street and the ambulance passed by me, I pause right then and pray for that family, because there's somebody in the car that's hurt. And there are some family members at home or at the hospital waiting on them, hurt as well. Whenever I go to a grave, I pray for the family, because they're hurting now, but I could hurt after a while, because hurting don't feel good. I think this passage showing us that we have to learn how to help hurting people. Can I tell you why? Because hurting folk hurt folk. When a person hurt, they look at life through different lenses. When a person is hurt, y'all don't hear me in the when a person is hurt, they don't see life like you do. Oh, the Bible said they were lame, halt, blind. They had different problems, but they needed somebody to help them. They came to the pool for the troubling of the water. They'd heard that there's healing at the pool. You know, when a person is sick, you seek solutions from everybody. Somebody tell you, you sick, tell you what you do. Y'all don't like that. Cut this tree down and put in a bucket, drink the sap. It'll heal you. There you go. I never will forget when I was at home, Mama tried all kind of remedies to heal us. One, don't laugh at me when I tell you. She'd have me to go out and follow the cow and get her droppings. She'd take them droppings and put in a container, tie it up, put it in the pot and boil it. It was called cow chip tea. Y'all ain't saying that. And would have all of us drinking it. I see I got 2 or 3 more in here been drinking. I'm not the only one been drinking. Folk will try anything when you're sick. I'm looking at some of y'all now. You tried everything you could try. Better not get sick and tell somebody you're sick. They have you going and getting everything. They were at this pool. They were sick, waiting on the troubling of the water. And the Bible said there was a man. Didn't give us his name, but he was a man. Didn't tell us his nationality, but he was a man. Didn't tell us how old he was, just told us how long he'd been at the pool. For 38 years. Can I take you to the pool for a moment? And let's look in on this man. First 2 or 3 weeks he was there, he was jubilant. He was excited because he just knew in a few days the water would be trouble. Finally, the water got trouble. He got almost there. Somebody stepped in front of him. He got a little disappointed. He just banked up, so I wait my second time. 5 months later, the water trouble again. He got almost there. But somebody stronger than he was pushed him back. And he missed. Went the third time, somebody stepped in. You know, after a while, you start getting disheartened when stuff don't happen. You'll start having pity parties. Say, why me? Why in the world I got to go through all this? How come I couldn't get the job? How come I wasn't picked? How come I wasn't selected? Talk to me, somebody. Disappointment mess you up. Now, that means the man was not just sick physically. He was sick socially. Because whoever it was that was healed in front of him didn't think enough of him to come back and give him a helping hand. You know, folk will make you think they're your friend until you get in trouble. People will eat up all your food. They'll sleep in your bed. They'll drink all your liquor. They'll spend all your money. And when you get in trouble, you can't find them. You call, voice message, come on. Please leave your name, a number, and a brief message. Susan can I return your call. You ain't calling back. You put that dancing machine on there just for them. Talk to me if you can. The man had been there for 38 years. The Bible said Jesus showed up. Thank God he showed up. Now remember, the man didn't invite him, but he showed up. The man did not send Jesus an invitation, but he showed up. The man didn't even pray, Lord, have mercy, but Jesus showed up. Aren't you glad he shows up? Because if Jesus had to wait on us to call him, many times he wouldn't come. But because he is who he is, he shows up. But not only did he show up, he's sovereign. Because when Jesus saw this man, the Bible says he knew that the man had been there in that case a long time. Can I tell you, the Lord don't just know your problem. He know how long you've had it. Preach, Reverend Ray. He don't just know you're sick. He know the sickness. He don't just know you're weak. He know what made you weak. Thank God he's a God that knows. He showed up. He saw the man. The Bible said, and when Jesus saw, Greek word is adu, which means he saw him inside and out. Thank God when Jesus see you, he don't see you like others. Other folks see you, they can't get past what you did yesterday. When other folks see you, they can't get past what you said. But Jesus don't just look at where you are. He look at what he can make out of you. Luke 19, when Jesus came to Jericho, little Zacchaeus was a little short in stature. The Bible said that meant he wore little short suits. He wore short shoes, short hat. He took short steps, climbed up the sycamore tree, waiting to see Jesus. When Jesus passed by, he looked up. You know, have you ever tried it sometime? Be in a mall or somewhere, you ain't got to do it. Just stop and just start looking up. That's all you got to do. Folk all around you, they'll start. You just keep looking up. They're going to say, what is he looking at? When Jesus looked up, other folks start looking up too. But when they looked up, they saw a thief on the limb. But when Jesus looked up, he saw a missionary. Wonder what the folks said when they look at you. What do they see when they look at you? But they ain't as important as he is. Because Jesus, if he don't see what he need to see in you, he can make it out of it. Because he made you in taking nothing and making something. He saw Adu. He saw the man and knew how long he'd been there. And he said, which said is lego in the Greek, it means to break the silence. Can I tell you, when Jesus opened his mouth, something great is getting ready to come out. You see, Jesus says to the man, number one, you need to validate your weakness. In other words, you need to come to the conclusion that some things you can't do for yourself. You need to come to the conclusion that you are weak and need some help from somebody else. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So, preacher, I'm not weak. I jog every day. I do my bench pressing. I do my weightlifting. I eat my Wheaties. I ain't weak. I'm not talking about physical weakness. Preacher, I'm not weak. I got a PhD. Can't call me weak. I'm not talking about intellectual weakness. Preacher, I'm not weak. I got $1 million in the bank. I'm not talking about financial weakness. I'm talking about spiritual weakness. Y'all don't hear me. You see, when you're spiritual weak, physical strength ain't going to do you much good. Because your muscles can't beat the devil. Talk to me, somebody. Your intelligence can't outsmart Satan. Your money can't get you out of some things. The man was weak, like so we're weak. Romans 5:6 said, when we were without strength, Christ died for us. What are you saying, preacher? Here's what I'm saying. I need to get by myself sometime. Say, Lord, I can't handle this by myself. Lord, I've been trying to figure it out. Lord, I've been trying to work through it. Lord, I've been giving it my best, but I just can't do it by myself. See, as long as you think you can handle it, the Lord said, go ahead. Go and handle your situation. But the moment you say, Lord, it's not my mother, it's not my father, it's not my sister, it's not my brother, but it is me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. We have to come to the conclusion, we need some help. I've said it over and over. Too many of us think we're self-made. I don't need nobody. But you're indebted to half the world before you leave the house. Get up and take a bath and use soap, you're indebted to the Frenchman. He invented the soap. Take a towel and dry off your body, indebted to the Turk. They invented the towel. Talk to me somebody. If you drunk some orange juice, you're indebted to Florida. You ate some hash browns, you're indebted to Idaho. You ate some cornflakes, you're indebted to Illinois. You watch your television, you're indebted to China. Y'all don't like me. You know, the list could go on. Because we can't make it by ourselves. We have to ask the Lord for that we don't have strength. Isaiah 40:31, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, shall mount up with wings as eagles, shall run and not be weary, shall walk and not faint. I am weak. I need the strength of the Lord. So I must validate my weakness. Y'all don't like that. Secondly, I must activate my will. Watch what the Lord said. Do you want to be made whole? Do you know the Lord is powerful, but he will not break in on your will? Like I got to do this by myself. The Lord got all power, but he won't go against your will. He know you're saved. You know what he said? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice, open the door. I'll come in and sup with him and he with me. Now, he could break in, but that's against your will. I try to tell people, they don't like me saying it, that you got a son, a daughter, husband, wife that don't go to church and you faithful in church, and you've been trying to get them to come to church and they don't come. Then when they die, you want to drag them up in the church. I just wanted to have a church funeral. The devil, he didn't go to church. Are you going to take advantage of a dead man and drag him up in church after he died? He can't get no more in heaven after he died. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Gonna drag him. I just want him to have it, and then have a fit because you can't do it. The funeral should be where he spent his time. He spent his time in the casino. That's where the funeral should be. He spent his time in a nightclub. That's where the funeral should be. You're going to take advantage of a dead man. I want to have a church funeral. Had one of the members, bless her heart, had somebody die in the family, and the funeral was at another church. And so they came in, the pastor stood at where I was, said, Reverend, I want you to get up and say something at the funeral because I want you to get all of my family saved today. The pastor of the church said, you know, Reverend, she been living with the family all her life. Why she didn't get them saved? She won't wait till the funeral and want you to wrought a miracle. Anybody gonna help me in this house? Jesus would not go against the man's will. It's in the text. Do you want to be made whole? I don't care how you try to get your brother or sister off of drugs or alcohol. It ain't gonna happen till they want to. God got to work on that wanna. Y'all ain't saying that. I don't care how you put scriptures on their beer can. I don't care how come you preach to them every day, every night. They got to want to do it. I get tickled sometimes when I see young boys grow up with all that crazy stuff on their hair, and comb on one side, cut off on the other, and earrings on their ears and nose, and they wear everything, pants halfway down their behind. And the parents just be saying, baby, don't do that. You're embarrassed. Don't do that. They keep doing it till they meet some little girl. And they meet that right little girl. Next thing you know, the earrings come out their nose. They get their hair cut. They dress up in a fine suit. What happened? She worked on his wanna. Oh, y'all don't like me today. You got to work on the wanna. Do you want to be made whole? Watch what the man said. Sir, the text says, sir. The Greek text says, kurios. The word kurios means Lord, which means this man at the pool said, Lord, every time I get ready to step in the pool, another man step in before me. Jesus, I didn't ask you about no other man. I asked that you want to be made whole. That may be the problem with too many of us. We waiting on a man. Y'all ain't gonna help me here. You waiting on a man to do what God needs to do. Every time I get ready to step in, some other man step in before me. Can I tell you, this is for free. In this Christian journey, nobody can get ahead of you. If you're born again, God got enough blessings for all of us. He said, I have 10,000 blessings in my right hand to satisfy the poor. He says, no man. Jesus said, I just need to know, do you, Lord, want to be made whole? Now notice Jesus didn't say, do you want to walk? Because that wasn't the only problem with the man. How many know that wasn't the only problem? Can I show you the problem? Go down to verse 14 in the text. It said, afterwards Jesus findeth him in the temple, that's the man that couldn't walk, and said unto him, behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more. Sin no more. Sin no more. That meant his problem wasn't walking. His problem was sin. Y'all don't hear me. He said, if you go back and start sinning, a worse thing is going to happen to you. The Lord didn't say, do you want to walk? He said, I want to know, do you want to be made whole? So number one, you must validate your weakness. Secondly, you must activate your will. But thirdly, you must initiate your walk. The text said, the Lord said unto him, arise. That meant, the Lord, was, number one, changing his posture. Because for 38 years, he'd been sitting. But now, the Lord said, arise. He was changing his posture. In other words, there's some things in life you just gotta do. When I read this, I said, look like the Lord is unfair to this man. Because for 38 years, the man been sitting. And now the Lord tell him to do something that's impossible. And if it's impossible, it's unreasonable. And if it's unreasonable, it's unfair. You know, we say all the time, God won't put no more on you than what you can bear, but he will. He'll put more on you than what you can bear, so he'll show you he'll bear it for you. He says to him, man, you've been sitting so long, it's time for you to arise. I guess what the Lord is saying is, you couldn't stand up in my absence, but I'm here now. What you couldn't do then, Lord, you can do it now. But then he didn't just say, rise. He says, take up. That means change your position. Wait a minute. He says, take up. Lord, what you mean take up? Well, for 38 years, the man had been depending on his bed. Now, the bed is depending on him. Let me rephrase it to get you. First of all, he said, what you've been dependent on, it's now depending on you. You see, too many of us, we depend on other things and other folk. But when you're born again, it's time for them, Lord, to start depending on you. He says, change your posture. Change your position. But then it said, change your pace. Because it said, walk. The man hadn't walked in 38 years. But now, Lord, the man is walking. Help me say he's walking. I don't know. Ain't nobody happy in this house but me. The man is, help me say he's walking. For 38 long years, the man have been waiting on the troubling of the water. But now, oh Lord, he don't have to wait on the water any longer, because Jesus, the Word, has shown up. Let me poll the house. Is there anybody here whose back have been against the wall? Yeah, and you trying everything to work out the situation on your own. You tried money. You tried attorneys. You tried gimmicks. You tried friends. But somebody told you, go in to your private chamber and have a conversation with the Lord and see won't things change. And when you got up off your knees, like a light came on and a burden was lifted, oh Lord, because the Lord showed up. Have I got a witness? Well, let me give you one more. I can stay long as y'all want to stay. Not only did he change posture, change position, change pace, I asked the question. I said, now, Lord, I need to talk with you. Why did you tell the man to take up his bed? Why didn't you just let him leave his bed where it was? Have I got to witness him? Why didn't you just say, come on and follow me? He said, well, the reason I want him to take it up because it's a role reversal. Help me say role reversal. Instead of the bed holding him, he's now holding the bed. Got to be a role reversal. But not only do I see a role reversal, I see a real reminder, because just as sure as he's living, somebody is going to walk up to him and recognize him and say, hey, buddy, aren't you that man that's been at the pool for 30 years? Aren't you that man that's been sitting there trying to crawl in the pool? And he's able now to point, oh Lord, and remind himself, I'm not going to let anybody turn me around. Every time his faith get a little weak, he look at the bed. Every time the devil try to tell him you can't make it, he look back at the bed. Every time his family said God is not real, he look at the bed. It's a role reversal. Yeah, it's a real reminder. Is there anybody in here got anything that can remind you of the fact that Jesus showed up, and when he showed up, how many know he showed out? Number one, it's a role reversal. Number two, it's a real reminder. But finally, it's a reason to rejoice. Have I got a witness? The man got something he can shout about now. I tell you what I think happened. For 38 years, he had been at the pool. His wife and family was back home. Oh, Lord. And one day, his young son now had grown up. They talked about dad and being stationed at the pool. There was no help for him. He couldn't walk. He couldn't work. And he wasn't worshiping. But they saw a man coming down the road with a bed on his shoulder. The boy stared at him for a while and went back and told his mama, said, Mama, I saw the strangest thing just a little while ago. She said, what was it? What it looked like Daddy coming over the hill with a bed on his shoulder. Mama said, stop playing, boy. Your daddy can't walk. Don't have a witness. The boy said, I think it was Daddy, Mama. She said, no, go somewhere and sit down. And then Mama, she got up and looked out the window. And sure enough, her husband that had been lame for 38 years was on his way toward the house. She ran out the house and met him. Say, honey, what in the world happened? You've been lame for 38 years. How is it you're able to walk now? I hear him say, a little while ago, I was sitting at the pool. A man by the name of Jesus stopped by. He told me to get off my bed and put the bed on me. I thought it was playing, but something happened in my body. My limbs got stronger. My legs got powerful. I got up, folded up my bed, and came on home. I'm out of here. Thank y'all for letting me stop by. But can I tell you that same Jesus can do for you what it did for that woman? Can I tell you that's why he showed up in the first place out on a hill called Calvary. Can I tell you what he did? He died. Don't have a witness here. He died, but Sunday morning, Sunday morning, Sunday morning, Sunday morning, he got up. I say, got up. He changed his posture. He changed his position. He changed his pace. How many know he'll do it? He'll give you a role reversal. Somebody said, I looked at my hand. My hands look new. I looked at my feet, and they did too. Said, I started to walking. I had a new walk. I started to talking. I had a new talk. Because the God I serve, won't he do it? I said, won't he do it? He will. Hallelujah. Heads about, eyes are closed. You here and out of church. Straight away, gracious God our Father,